First off, thank you, HealthSpaces, for giving me the opportunity to come here and speak to you all about a new campus that we just opened in Austin. We opened it in February, and I'm very excited here to talk about the story behind that new campus. Um, so my name is Gaurav Khadse. It's a little difficult to pronounce, so I go by GK. Feel free to call me GK. I am Vice President over Facilities Planning, Design, Construction, and Real Estate at Texas Children's Hospital. So for those who do not know what Texas Children's Hospital is, it's a healthcare system, pediatrics and women's, based in Houston, headquartered there since 1954. What is so critical about this project and what is so interesting about this project is, of course, we finished the project on budget, on schedule, but there was something that was very different about this project, and that's what the story is about. This project was catching lightning in a bottle. We were able to create a culture in the team which was unlike any of us has experienced. Unlike me as an owner, unlike the architects, unlike the GC. And we really assessed what was it that made that culture so good. And I have some takeaways in this story here for you all to know. And it's great that, Bob, you talked about some of those things. And it was like, oh, this is great because some of those things that you were talking about were absolutely crucial to what we implemented in this. So that's what the story is about. It's more about what we did, what the culture was, and how we nurtured it. So a little bit about Texas Children's. For those of you who haven't been to Houston, I urge you to go there. Houston is home to the largest life sciences complex in the nation. It's called the Texas Medical Center. It's spread over 2.1 square miles. It has 50 healthcare institutions, and by size, it's the 8th largest business district in the nation. So what you see here in the picture is not Houston's downtown. Downtown is in the background. What is in the foreground is the Texas Medical Center. And there are about 100,000 employees that work there, faculty, staff, nurses, doctors. So Texas Children's Hospital occupies a prominent location in the medical center. We have our women's hospital, our children's hospital, outpatient center, research institute, as well as administration, all in the Texas Medical Center. And by the numbers, we have 4 campuses. 3 of them are in Houston, and our latest campus, the story that I'm going to talk about, is in Austin. The campus itself is 18,000 employees, and we have about 100 facilities spread throughout Houston, College Station, Austin, and Central Texas as such. So this is a picture of one of our regional campuses. This is called the West Campus. It's in West Houston, and this was opened in 2016. This really helped us understand what a regional campus should be, and our model was a one-stop shop. Basically, it's an outpatient building, an inpatient building connected with a central core that has all the support services, diagnostic services, and a parking garage. So it's very convenient, one-stop shop. People get in, get their outpatient and inpatient care in the same location. This was where we learned a lot of lessons and applied to the next campus, which was the North Houston campus. And this is called the Woodlands campus. This built on that framework, again, similar, an inpatient tower, outpatient tower, connected by a central core and a parking garage. It was very successful, and we've learned lessons from this as well. This opened in 2018. And then the next foray was, of course, Austin. You've all heard about Austin's growth story in the last few years. Austin has seen unprecedented growth. A lot of large companies have moved there, so a lot of hiring, and millennials are moving there. It has been one of the fastest growing cities in the country. And of course, with that demographic comes the need for care for children and women. So it was just perfect for us to venture into Austin. It was the next stop for us. So we bought 2 large parcels of land, 25 acres each, North and South Austin. It covered Austin pretty well. And our first foray was in North Austin, where we had the 25-acre campus. And the formula was the same. We wanted to build an inpatient tower, outpatient tower connected with a core. With any project, you all know the analogy of the 3-legged stool, right? Any project has scope, the budget, and the schedule. Schedule by far is always the driver. And so was it for our North Austin campus. We were in 2020, and our president's mandate was this has to open on February 4th, 2024, because it aligned with our 70th anniversary at Texas Children's Hospital. So that was our date. And it seemed feasible. It's 4 years. Yeah, we can do it. But we knew there would be challenges, and we had to have a team that really could deliver the project on budget and on schedule. So taking the same analogy of that stool to the team, you also have the three-legged team: an engaged owner, an architect, and a general contractor right from the beginning. And they all need to work as one team, regardless of the contracts. They need to be one team to deliver the project. So we were here in early 2020. We had done our interviews. We had selected our teams, ready to go February 2020. You all know what happened. The world went on pause, right? We had COVID. So this whole team went virtual. We still had the same deadline. The deadline didn't change. We had to open in February. So we had to be extra cautious about how do we make sure this team functions. There were people from around the geography in different locations working together. So right on the onset, the team that we chose was Page Architects, McCarthy Building Construction as our GC, and we had our executive steering team that was assembled. And the first thing that the team did, McCarthy and Page, they came to us saying, hey, we want this to be a different project delivery model. And here are the best practices that are going on. And Texas Children's completely committed to it. So there were basically three things, right? We wanted a collaborative team, so we decided to go the IPD light path. What that meant was, well, we'll still have conventional contracts. We don't want to do the IPD contracts, but we'll function as one team. What that means is we'll bring the design assist partners together, we'll work together, we'll have the big room, all that. We'll have full planning right from the beginning, kickoff all the way to activation, not just during construction. And we'll use all the tools that are at our disposal: BIM, virtual design, VR, AR, and of course we would evaluate if prefab and modular makes sense. But overarching theme was, we have to have a culture of respect, no blame, increase value, reduce waste, and continuous improvement. We had to drill that into the team, and that were our principles. So with that, the first thing we did at kickoff was assembled a team charter. The team charter essentially was our guiding light, our guiding principle across the team. And we went through many things, but we simplified it. It had to be very simple. It cannot be complicated. We had a huge team. Open communication. Speak up. When you need help, call for it. Ask the right person for help. Be clear and specific. What do you need? When do you need it by? And what happens if you don't get it by then? Have respect, which means no excuses, but hold each other accountable and be proactive. Collaborate and innovate, bring new things to the table. And last but not least, which was great, have fun. And for that, we appointed chief fun officers, what we called CFOs, and their job was to inject fun throughout project delivery. And it was not just one person. It was a person from the owner's side, a person from the architect's side, from the GC's side. So we embarked on that, and everybody had to sign it. But really, when you bring a big team together, you don't know each other. You're coming together the first time, and this is often overlooked. How many times do you take the time to put a project org chart together with people's pictures and what are they going to do? So that was the first thing. We put together a big chart as if it was a firm, and everyone's face was there, what they were going to do. And then you can see certain faces are circled in a red border. Those were the people you go for that team. So everyone knew who was doing what they looked like, and what was their job. And it's okay to kick it off with this, but this is a live document. You have to keep it up. Over 4 years, people leave. New people come on board. And it's often overlooked. You have to have this to onboard people right and to make sure you're holding each other accountable. I can't stress how important this was. So with that, we kicked off. We said, well, we have 4 years. That's fine. 1 year in design, 3 years in construction. We have enough time. But then we said, well, let's look at it from a full planning perspective, right? If you have to open, then Texas Children's needs 3 months. We need to move in, activate. Okay, that still leaves 36 months in construction. Well, what about site development permit? Austin is new. They take 1 year to give you site development. Well, where's the time to design? We were already at a shortfall of 6. We didn't have any time. We had a 16-month shortfall. What do you do? So we started working as a team. Well, we can compress the construction time by 30 months. You still had the 1 year to do the site development permit. Left us just enough time to do your site planning, programming, and master planning, which of course you all know what that meant. It meant breaking up the whole project into multiple packages. So we had to break up the central plant, the garage, core and shell, the interiors, and make sure if we work backwards, we were lining up right with where programming was ending. So that became the basis of really creating a pull plan. Often people think pull plan is only something you use during construction. Well, no, you can use it right from day one when you're master planning. And when we broke these packages up, each swim lane that you see on the right side represented that package. The red diamonds represented the milestones that you had to achieve to get to the end date, which is 4 years away. And on the right, what you see is a day-by-day breakdown of that milestone. So going back to what Bob was talking about, and it resonated with me, you have to simplify the complex. And you have to break it down to what task needs to be done today, by who, to get to that point. And the colors you see there, they represent each participant in the team. So yellow is the architect, green is Texas Children's. We had our job to do, to withhold, to keep those milestones. The pink is the engineer. The blue is our civil guy. So everybody had their job, and as we finish that, you cross it out, and you get to the milestone. Some people did their job earlier, so it was a pull. Going back to the idea of having fun, while you're doing all this, you had to inject fun, right, to keep the team culture alive. So the chief fun officers came up with a great way first to break the ice. So we played Pictionary several times with new people. The idea was twofold. They got good with the annotation tools. You should be good at getting in, drawing stuff, showing arrows. That was a great way to break the ice and also build some skill set. And remember, this was going on during COVID. So everyone was virtual and the big room was virtual. So people had to come out of their shells to really talk, to break and work on it. So it was a fun way to do that. And then of course, there was one thing which was confetti to celebrate. So it was a simple thing, but every time we did something good, virtual confetti was given. And it was so good that really people started calling it like a tagline, that, hey, this deserves a confetti. Every time we celebrated something, it deserved a confetti. The team also went through a lot of exercises of having fun, holiday-themed parties, and one important thing was we played music during our OAC meetings. The OAC meetings started with music. Our team had a theme. And that was so critical because every time the huge team from other places came together, it was a cue. Now you got to focus on this project. They were in multiple projects. This was the only project that played music, and it became so popular. With that, we finished our master planning. This is the North Austin campus site. It's narrow and long, but the chassis remains the same. We had about 500,000 square feet, 52 beds. The budget was 485 million, and our project, when it was master planned and programmed, was right at about that 485 million. We met first in person after 2 years of kicking off the project, which was great because the team chemistry was still there. The one thing people forget is you can build all this culture during design, but then hundreds of people walk on the site when the project goes into construction. How do you nurture that culture? So that's where McCarthy came in, right? They took our project poster, they took our charter and made everyone on the construction site sign it. It was one team, one goal. So what you see in the picture there is people signing it. So we had to nurture that same culture of one team, one goal and continue on. Every week at OAC, we used many, many tools to really implement a good culture of accountability. We used Bluebeam for collaboration. We used AR and VR. We used 3D. And this is just one of those technologies. This was a drone footage that took the same path every week. And it was shown at the OAC. What that did was people knew exactly what was going on site and what they were supposed to do to make sure the progress on site didn't stop. And it was great. People knew exactly what was happening, and the whole team was together. And this is the shot when the project went substantially complete in November 2023. So with that, here's our completed project, February 2024. What you see here on the south of the site is a wetland. We implemented a lot of sustainable features as well. We got the AEGB 3-star rating, which is equivalent to a LEED rating. That pond is condensate water from our HVAC system, and that's used to irrigate the site. We have many other sustainable features: electric car charging stations, local food sourcing, composting, and the cup has several energy saving features. We achieved approximately 34% reduction in energy on this project. The exterior is fairly simple. The inpatient, outpatient buildings are rectangular boxes. They give us the most flexibility for the future. But then the ribbon that you see on the first floor connects the entrances and brings some architectural interest. All the materials on the building are inspired by Central Texas landscapes, the limestone that you see and the colors. Here's a picture of the main entrance. Again, the curve brought some architectural interest and also broke the monotony of the two rectangular buildings. It looks phenomenal at a pedestrian level and still preserves our flexibility for the future when we want to convert the floor plates to something else. This is the interiors. Every floor had a theme, and the theme was a Central Texas landscape theme. So this is the first floor, and the first floor was a theme of a cavern. So as you can see in caverns, you have the organic forms that's represented in the terrazzo floor, the colors, the light fixtures had the stalactites. And what you see there is the monumental stair and the water stream flowing down. That's because the second floor is themed on waterways. So the water from the second floor is flowing down to the cavern level. Floors 3, 4, 5 each have their themes, like rolling hills, the horizon and sky, and the architecture responds to that. So it's a fun way for children to also connect to nature, as well as have our design team some strong principles to provide a good architecture to the building. Every space had its own feel and theme to ensure that wayfinding was good. This is the entrance to the emergency center. It's the reception desk, and it's shown with a bright color, so people find it easy to get to. And I'm there, right there, standing and pretending to be a parent of a child during the photo shoot. I was also a doctor in one of these photo shoots. So the key takeaways, right? What was the secret sauce? I told you, we've done many projects. We've often hit the budget. We've hit the schedule. But what was special about this project was the team chemistry. And the team chemistry came from the charter, from the org chart, from the CFOs, from injecting fun, from making it enthusiastic, and from nurturing the culture throughout activation. And often you don't get that. One of the conditions that we had, conditions of satisfaction, was we end this project as friends. Most often you'll hear, projects are done and you're so fed up with meeting with each other. You're like, I don't want to see you for the next 3 years, man. Let's not work on any other project. But here, we finished the project as friends, and we wanted to work the very next day on the next project, which was the Austin South Campus. We kicked it off. We started design on it. It was great. So that was kind of the secret sauce. We also wanted to make sure right from the beginning that when the GC is onboarded, that there is training of how do you really interface during pre-con. Most of the time, GCs start, but they're kind of in the back. They wait for the design to be done, and then they come in and provide input. Here, we wanted active participation. Take screenshots of the design. Go back, tell us what it means to the schedule, what it means to the budget. And it took time, it took training to bring them on board. Agreeing to tools and techniques is crucial, and then training to it. You can talk about pull planning, you can talk about lean, but if your team is not trained in it, if you don't take the effort to continuously train them, bring them out of the shell, it doesn't happen. It's a buzzword. You have to train them, and you have to have champions. You have to have champions across the team, and you have to embrace new things. Last but not least, try to be collaborative all the time, and the owner has to start with that. The owner has to plant the seed and continuously show the people that this is one unified team. If it doesn't act like one unified team, the culture won't exist. So we thought that was a secret sauce of delivering a project, having fun, and also ending as friends, wanting to work again on a new project. So hopefully you get some takeaways from it, and glad to answer any questions after the session because we are right on time. Thank you all.